Hello, everyone. John Lin here, and welcome back to the ExpertGate's exclusive interview series, where we showcase trailblazers whose impactful work is driving innovation across education, research, and industry. Today, we're thrilled to feature Dr. Amanda Kelly, an accomplished leader with extensive expertise in education, policy development, and workforce training. With a career spanning diverse roles from leading national government projects to designing transformational and transformative curricula for communities and universities, Amanda has consistently demonstrated a profound commitment to equity, innovation, and excellence. Now, Dr. Kelly's current work bridges the worlds of academia, social outreach, and industry. Her expertise in managing large-scale multidisciplinary teams and driving impactful programs exemplifies truly how strategic vision can create measurable, lasting outcomes. Now, Dr. Kelly, it's an honor to have you with us today. Let's begin with your journey. Could you provide a brief overview of your professional path and share what inspired you to specialize in education and leadership?
Oh, thank you. So my background is quite diverse, as you pointed out. So I've had a background that spans quite a few different industries. I've been in the military within education. I've also been in not-for-profits as well, working across more to do with social justice initiatives as well, regionally in Australia. I've also worked in the higher education sector on curriculum development and change management strategies within higher education as well. As you mentioned, I've worked in workforce development on government initiatives as well, leading projects to do with vocational pathways for public servants as well within Australia. So it's quite different, quite unique. And most recently, I've been involved in academia as well, so more to do with research projects within higher education, including my own personal research as well.
Oh, wonderful, Amanda. Look, thank you for sharing your amazing journey. I mean, your dedication to really empowering these communities, and fostering innovation through education is very inspiring. Now, if you don't mind, let's delve a bit deeper into your perspectives on collaboration, right? And social impact, especially with our ExpertGate's mission. Now, you successfully have led large-scale projects, as you mentioned, in education and policy development and everything. Now, what types of collaborations or projects are you most excited to explore through ExpertGate?
Oh, well, it's always good to collaborate with like-minded people as well. So I think working with other experts and professionals within education is quite exciting as well. I like the idea of working on projects that look at curriculum development and also workforce as well. As you can see, they're both areas that I'm quite passionate about. I have been involved in international projects previously as well as a consultant working for overseas institutions and learning about different ways that things are done is quite exciting as well. So, and it's education it's something that's quite diverse, but we all in some ways like to delve into creating knowledge as well, which is very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole creating knowledge part, and your work impacting all these diverse kind of communities. It's really awe-inspiring. Now, Amanda, I'd like to ask. I mean, how do you see your expertise contributing to creating positive social impact, particularly in underserved communities?
Oh, that's something that's quite close to my heart anyway. My finishing my PhD, which was on Indigenous higher education students with Indigenous backgrounds, with getting into university in Australia as well, and moving through the higher education system. So social justice is something that's very close to my heart, and empowering people to learn and to gain knowledge as well. So I think it's more about looking at the aspirational value of education, and also looking at diverse learners. So understanding that we all don't necessarily come from the same background, that we bring different perspectives as well. And I think, culturally, spiritually, socially, that we need to understand the value of what we bring as individuals to the table when it comes to education as well. And that's something that's very exciting. And I think from my personal background of delving into that, I think that valuing that and bringing some of the experience from my previous research, I think that that's something that could be a good contribution to future initiatives.
Yeah, there's a lot of initiatives at hand, and touching upon that, education for diverse communities, and really serving these underprivileged communities. Now, at ExpertGate, as you know, we dedicate 50% of our profits to developing curricula and teaching initiatives centered on Industry 5.0, and in particular benefiting these underprivileged communities worldwide. Now, how do you think we can enhance these efforts, and what roles do you feel that universities and industries can play in maximizing their impact?
I think this is something really important, and looking at 5.0 into the future, understanding technology is one thing, and the human aspect to that as well as 5.0 does. We're looking at access as being a big part of that. Not everybody has access to technologies and to futuristic initiatives that are available to privileged areas as well. So we look at underprivileged communities. I think it's really important that we consider access to education, to e-learning opportunities, internet, AI being one as well. So, we all don't necessarily come from an equal playing field when it comes to education. And I think that we need to be able to provide opportunities to a lot of people who don't have that, and consider how we can do that as well. So, technology is not necessarily available in a lot of underprivileged areas, and that includes internet access, connectivity. We're looking at an economic value as well of people not having the financial opportunities as well. And I think that we need to understand some of those gaps, and how us as a global community, how we can actually fill some of those gaps and work in ways that are, smarter, not harder, I guess, in some aspects.
Oh, 100%. I mean, filling those gaps, those hidden gaps within to provide the opportunities for access to education to these communities. I mean, that's part of our core mission at ExpertGate. For us, we are reuniting academia and industry, right? We're connecting east to west, and sharing this kind of knowledge across the board. Now, I'd like to ask Amanda, as the world transitions into Industry 5.0, how do you envision this revolution shaping the future of education? I know you spoke about access and everything earlier, but particularly centered around a human-centered AI-driven workforce and preparing students for it.
Yeah, and this is something that's very pertinent. It's very relevant to HE at the moment. So if we're looking at higher education in particular, and even looking at school-based education, it's something that we're all pondering over. It is definitely, it's something that a lot of educators and a lot of institutions and even industries are actually looking at as well. I think one of the biggest things to do with AI is ethics and governance. So we're not necessarily, in a state where we should turn our backs on artificial intelligence and other forms of technology that are evolving so quickly in today's society. But I think it's more about how we use a lot of those technologies ethically. So as we have a lot of very, very intelligent people who are developing these technologies, and it's evolving. We also need people who can work alongside, in particular, a lot of the ICT people, a lot of the engineers who can look at the ethics and a lot of the wraparound supports that we need to utilize these technologies in an ethically safe way, particularly when it comes to education, so that we can use it in a way that creates opportunity rather than barriers.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, provided this, at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is it's a tool for us to utilize, and it needs to be set within this, an ethical and moral framework. Otherwise, we run a risk of, as famously quoted in Jurassic Park, we've been so busy asking whether we could do it, and we haven't asked, whether we should, right? I mean, Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise today. Your innovative approach to education and commitment to equity is truly inspiring and serves as a guiding beacon to both educators and industry leaders. Now, to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in to ExpertGate's interview series. Stay connected for more thought-provoking conversations with global changes like Dr. Kelly. For more information about Dr. Kelly's work and ExpertGate's initiatives, visit expertgate.org. At ExpertGate, for everyone, everywhere.